The World Health Organization has issued new recommendations to end the rising medicalized FGM, known as female genital mutilation, following a report that about 52 million young girls and women were subjected to female genital mutilation in the hands of health workers. Good evening. Welcome to Soundhealth on Lagos Television. I am Olasumbo Modupe. Today on the program, we are looking at how to end female genital mutilation practice, especially by health workers. Stay tuned. The conversation begins after this break.
More than 230 million women and girls today have experienced female genital mutilation or FGM. It is mostly carried out on young girls, generally before puberty and often under the age of 5 years. There are different types of FGM, which can involve removing part or all of the external female genitals, the exposed part of the clitoris, and sometimes the labia, the lips of the female genitals. FGM can be life-threatening. Girls can bleed to death or suffer severe infections. It can also cause long-term sexual, mental, or menstrual health problems. Is it just like male circumcision? No. Male circumcision involves removing the foreskin. In FGM, they cut off the external part of the clitoris, which would be equivalent to cutting off the entire head of the male penis. We should educate and empower girls so they understand that no one should have the right to do things to their bodies without their consent. Health workers can also help to decrease the practice by talking and educating mothers and fathers and families and communities about the harmful effects of FGM. Let's all work together to end FGM, protect girls, and improve their health.
The program is still Sound Health on Lagos Television. Joining us via Zoom this evening is Bello, Awodoyin, co-founder Frontline and Female Genital Mutilation Movement. And she is going to tell us what exactly is female genital mutilation and how to speed up ending the practice in Nigeria. Good evening, Bello, Awodoyin, and thanks for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
All right. Following the reports released by the World Health Organization, it says, I'm sure you must have had the opportunity to see this report and the recommendations. But before we go into the recommendations by the World Health Organization, let us know what exactly is female genital mutilation.
Okay, thank you very much. Female genital mutilation is a violation of girls' rights. It's a violation of women's rights. It is the removal, it is the partial or the total removal of the female genitalia for non-medical reasons. So female genital mutilation is chopping off, a girl or a woman's clitoris for non-medical reasons. So that's just a simple way of summarizing female genital mutilation.
All right. So are there benefits? Well, because why do we have to remove the female, that important part of the female genitalia?
Okay, so female genital mutilation is a harmful practice. It's a gender-based violence, so there's no way it has any form of benefit. It is just a culture rooted in wickedness, in ignorance, in patriarchy, in poverty, in gender inequality. It's just rooted in a lot, but it is not a good practice because it's a violation of the rights of the girls and the rights of women. It's even a violation of human rights. Okay, so there is nothing appealing or good about female genital mutilation.
You have been advocating against female genital mutilation for over a decade, but it is disturbing to hear that this practice, this harmful effect, is still practiced or carried out by some health workers. To put it that way, how do you feel about this report?
Okay, thank you very much. I need you to understand that the medicalization of female genital mutilation is very disheartening for someone that has worked across communities for 10 years. It is disappointing. And I need you to understand that most people put pressure on medical personnel, for female genital mutilation because of in because they do not understand the campaigns that were brought to them. Now, the idea is this. Let me break it down in the layman's language. The reason why people would go to the hospitals to get their children circumcised, their daughters circumcised, is because they believe that the medical personnel would be able to take care of the girls. It would be done in a much more healthy, environment. Now, when activists go into the community to sensitize women, they make them understand that female genital mutilation is harmful because their objects of perpetrating the act are unsterilized. And that is why, medicalization of female genital mutilation makes us see the reason to equip more activists, to not just end female genital mutilation from the point of, oh, it is an unsterilized object, but for us to be able to do a holistic campaign to say, you know what, it is the violation of girls' rights. Yes, you are using unsterilized objects and it can put the women or the girls at risk. It is a violation of rights. The religion does not support it. Christianity doesn't support it. Islam doesn't support it. So the issue of medicalization of female genital mutilation is actually as a result of a campaign that is not holistic, saying that girls, the reason why we are campaigning against female genital mutilation is because the objects are not sterilized and because local quarters do not maintain hygiene to continue. But that's not true. Female genital mutilation, whether it is done in the hospital, whether it is done in the confines of your home, is wrong. There is no reason why the clitoris should be tampered with for non-medical reason. So it is disappointing because you expect that medical personnel should understand the job or the reason why a clitoris is there in the first place, understanding that it is the most sensitive organ, of the woman, of the girl child, and then they decide to chop it off. But what are the factors? Poverty, extra money. How much are medical personnel being paid? How do they get extra, how do they get extra money? Because female genital mutilation is actually much more expensive than male circumcision. So it is a problem that is interwoven. There are so many issues bringing about the medicalization of female genital mutilation. But asking how I feel, of course, I feel very disheartened. But I think there are some laws that are now in place. I think I read recently that medical personnel who perpetrate female genital mutilation will have their licenses revoked. So I just hope that these laws will not just be written on paper and we see to it that, it is being legalized, and we can see to it that indeed medical personnel who perpetrate female genital mutilations get their licenses revoked.
All right, between 2020 and now, over 52 million girls, young girls and women have been subjected to female genital mutilation by health workers. Maybe we should use this platform to let parents and the perpetrators know the harmful effects in layman's term. Now, what are the side effects such girls or women will experience later in life? Because it is not just about now, but the future.
Okay, so the implication of female genital mutilation is endless. It can cause hemorrhage, excessive bleeding during childbirth for women. It is a violation of girls' rights. It causes fever. Okay, it can also lead to death. Okay, it brings about stigma. It brings about issues in marriage. It brings about issues when it comes to sexual intercourse. Your reproductive health is at risk. Okay, so the problems are enormous. The problems are enormous. So it's not something, because there are long-term and there are short-term implications. There are implications that you see immediately, and there are some that you do not see until years to come. There are lots of issues that have happened with women while they want to give birth as a result of, female genital mutilation. There's been failed marriages in terms of limited satisfaction of one spouse due to female genital mutilation. So it does not have any good. The reasons for female genital mutilation, the cultural reasons, whatever reasons, the female genital mutilation isn't solving the problem. If you say that you want to stop your girls from being promiscuous and then you cut off their clitoris, so when they go through that stage where, you're scared of unplanned pregnancy, so when they get mature enough and they get married, are you going to return their clitoris? So it's not worth it at all. It's not worth it. If people say that they're perpetrating female genital mutilation from a place of love, from a place of care for their girls, because you don't want them to be promiscuous, you want them to be marriageable, you don't want them to have scandals and all of that, the effect is worse. Yorubas will say, Ori bibe kolo ori fifo. The fact that you have headache doesn't mean you cut off your head. So the fact that you're scared that your children can be promiscuous is not enough reason to cut off their clitoris. You can always train them. You can always talk to them. You can always pray with them. You can always counsel them. Those are the right approaches to ending promiscuity, not cutting off the clitoris.
All right. You mentioned earlier in your response that licenses of medical officers caught doing this practice, harmful practice, will be revoked. I also know that the World Health Organization released some recommendations. Are you opportune to see these recommendations, and can you quickly take us through these recommendations and guidelines to ending this practice?
Okay, recommendations and guidelines to ending this practice is basically for all hands to be on deck. Nobody can end female genital mutilation being an island. We need to work together. The government needs to see to it that the laws are effective. They're not just written on papers. Since Prohibitions Act and is being domesticated, we need to see to it that it is effective. We need to, there has to be scapegoats. When people say that indeed someone is being sentenced for female genital mutilation, they will understand the severity. How many times have we heard that somebody didn't because they perpetrated female genital mutilation? There are rarely cases like that. So we need to see to it that there is justice. The girls that are being mutilated, just like girls that have been raped, get the justice that is needed. Another thing we need to do is to encourage religious leaders and people of influence to speak up against the practice. You may feel like, oh, female genital mutilation, it doesn't concern me. It is also a social behavior that is not good, and it is important that people of high power and high influence, speak against it. And then also, like I said, the religious leaders, then the activists, the local activists, those people going into people that get the first-hand report cases too should also be equipped, and they shouldn't give up. They should get all the support. The government should open their arms to them, allowing them to come in and engaging them in dialogues, bringing them into the rooms where decisions are being made, because they know what exactly is happening in the communities. So those are the ways I believe, those are the guidelines. Medical practitioners should ensure that women are sensitized during antenatals. They should make it clear to them that in this hospital we do not circumcise girls, and these are the reasons. So when women are being sensitized, there won't be so much pressure. Okay, there won't be so much demand for female genital mutilation in the hospitals or from medical personnel. So we need to start telling them so that after delivering, they do not, begin to mount pressure. So those are the ways, those are the guidelines on how we can end female genital mutilation.
Okay, are there other urgent measures that can be put in place, and what do you like to see going forward?
Well, what I believe the urgent measures that I feel would end female genital mutilation is to amplify the voices of those that are speaking against it. For instance, if I'm campaigning against female genital mutilation and I'm able to train 20 other people to lend their voice, they would be able to reach more people than I can reach alone. Okay, so we need to have more people equipped. So we need to invest in trainings, and we need to invest in sensitizing the adolescents, because they are the future parents. So to see to it that even if we have a problem of female genital mutilation now in this generation, we need to ensure that it does not become a problem in the next generation. And the way to ensure that it doesn't get to the next generation is to begin to engage the future parents, the adolescents right now. So they are the ones we need to engage, we need to equip. So we need to train more people, more civil society organizations, fund them, support them, give them platforms and opportunities to speak, to see to it that someone somewhere is listening, leveraging on the media just like this, talking on TV, talking on radio. So it is a widespread of sensitization, and most times it takes time, just like the killing of twins, just like the tribal marking. There were times that those were the in things, but now, it's gone. And I believe so much that female genital mutilation will become history when those on the front line working to end it, are being supported.
All right, your final words as we wrap up now.
Well, my final word is to encourage everybody to speak up against female genital mutilation, for those that have been on the campaign like me for years to keep it up. I know it can be discouraging when you keep saying one thing over and over and over again, and it seems like there is no hope. We recorded progress before COVID, but you see that lockdown really took us back. So the prevalence skyrocketed, just like every form of gender-based violence. And post-COVID is like we're going back and starting afresh. Okay, so I just want to say that I see you, and that it's going to become history. We are the women that ended FGM. We are the people that ended FGM. And for the lives that you save, may God reward you. And to survivors out there feeling like, oh, something has been taken off me, and then you begin to feel like you're disabled, you begin to feel like you've been violated, you begin to feel like those that were supposed to care for you took something valuable from you. I pray that your healing process begins now, and you're able to leverage on opportunities on that give social support and psychosocial support, to survivors, and just keep being you, and make sure that you do not pass on the trauma, make sure that you do not pass on the pattern, let it end with you. Thank you.
All right, do not pass on the trauma. Speak, amplify the voices of survivors and those that are, advocating against female genital mutilation. Ayodeji Bello Awodoyin, co-founder, Frontline and Female Genital Mutilation Movement. Thank you so much for your time and expertise on Soundhealth.
Thank you too. Thank you for having me.
You are most welcome, Ayodeji Bello Awodoyin, co-founder, Frontline and Female Genital Mutilation Movement. Thank you so much for your thoughts on ending female genital mutilation practice in Nigeria. Sound Health continues with trending health report from around the world. Please stay tuned.
Mama, I love you. You hold me, you keep me safe, you are my world. Not every baby gets this chance.
Every 7 seconds, a mother or baby is lost to causes we could prevent. Not enough midwives, not enough medicine, not enough time. But this can change when we invest in science, in strong health systems, in equality, when we make the choice to support mothers and babies, when birthdays are moments of hope, not loss. We protect the future, because every healthy beginning means a hopeful future for us all.
The program is still Sound Health on Lagos Television. Female genital mutilation is a form of gender-based violence. You need to end that practice. Whether you are having it at a formal or non-formal setting, you need to end that practice today. Speak against this practice and amplify the voices of those advocating against female genital mutilation. This is where we say thank you on today's episode of Sound Health. If you have topics you'd like us to treat or you have comments for our resource persons, please send SMS to 00358266603 or follow us on social media at Lagos Television #SoundHealth. A sound health is a sound mind. Make healthy living your choice.